Welcome to Dark Knight Sound's Happy Hour, where we talk about the latest projects that Dark Knight Sound has been up to. We bring in whoever did a project this month and give our unique perspectives on it. We also answer questions from the authors and fans. I'm Fauna Nix, your host, and today in the studio we have Nick J. Russo,
Yo,
Dorian Bain,
How's it going?
and Tobias Silversmith.
Hi.
And disclosure, spoilers about the books will be discussed. With that in mind, let's get started. Yay.
yay.
First part is Burnt Toast.
Exciting.
Dorian and Tobias, a brief discussion on what you think about Burnt Toast overall. What do you think about the book?
It's fun.
Yeah, it was different doing it with somebody else.
How about a plot summary? Summarize.
Basic gist. So, Derek is a curmudgeon guy that works in a logging camp, and then his parents pass away, and he inherits a bed and breakfast. And he can't cook or clean or do anything you need to do to run a bed and
He's
breakfast.
pretty incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, he's a wonderful person,
Yeah.
but
Heart
not
of
for
a
that
gem.
job.
And then enters into his life Ginsburg, who is this
Yes.
super energetic, like stunt performer in wherever they're at, Blue Water Bay.
Blue Water Bay on the
Yep,
set of
Blue
Wolf's
Water Bay.
Landing.
Yeah, there.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically where they're like, you know, it's stated, but like they're oil and water, and they don't mix well at all.
Mm-mm.
But then they do.
It was fun. I had a lot of fun with it. Actually, my biggest challenge in the whole thing was just our voices are different base. So when we came in and we were like, okay, I'm going to be doing these characters, and then you're going to turn around and do these same characters' voices. And I thought for sure I was going to screw that up.
I don't think there's any way to do it like perfectly.
Oh, no,
because we
no.
both have like the hardest part. Like maybe the voices were weird, but it was like make sure we got the same tone for each character.
Yeah, inflection is
Yeah,
tough and
absolutely.
things like that. But it worked really well.
Do you want to play an excerpt
Yeah.
Okay.
from the book?
Yeah, absolutely. We have one ready to go here.
Oh, man.
Ginsburg should have caught a cab or bummed a ride. That much was obvious now. Hard to think straight, though, when he was still smarting from losing the use of his bike. But standing here on the rickety whitewashed porch of Blue Water Bay's worst B&B, as voted by the internet, soaking wet and shivering, had a way of rearranging one's priorities. The guy coming up the driveway now didn't look too happy to see him, scowling out from under his jacket's hood, but he hadn't gone full redneck and shouted, "Get off my property!" either. Ginsburg forced his frigid lips to smile. "The hell are you thinking, dressed like that?" Grizzled and Grumpy scolded, but still stooped to pick up Ginsburg's bag for him. Ginsburg shrugged. This wasn't exactly the time or the place to defend his carefully curated fashion choices. Vanity? His host snorted. "Well, get inside and I'll start a fire. Get you warmed up." When he opened the door, though, it seemed there was already a fire going somewhere, because the smoke alarm was wailing, and the front hall of the house was filled with a haze of blue smoke. "Fuck!" Ginsburg's host stormed inside, boots trilling mud. Wherever the fire was, it obviously wasn't in the fireplace where it belonged. Ginsburg chased him inside. "Fuck! Fuck! Fuck! Fucking oven! Fucking stove! Fucking breakfast!" The kitchen, then.
So yeah, basically the story of two people that, like you said, it was kind of an oil and water story. But we found out, you know, with the right amount of care, a little heat, you can make a lava lamp.
There you go.
That was
So
the
there's-
lamest thing
so-
ever said. Jason's like, no lava lamps.
So we have some questions from the two authors. I
Excited.
wrote this. So questions from Rachel. How did the narrators prep for recording? What steps did they take before making performance decisions?
I prepped for it just about like I prepped for any other book.
Like pre-production?
The base pre-production was pretty basic. I read through the book, got an idea of what I thought about the characters, saw what the story was about, where it was going. And then after that, you know, we sat down and talked. Nick came to me and was like, hey, we kind of want to all get together on the voices because we are doing some of those same characters back and forth. So I don't know, Tobias and I kind of came to a conclusion on a couple of the characters, like, okay, so-and-so kind of sounds like this. You
A
know.
really flamboyant
you
gay
know.
guy.
Oh God, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim was
That was
so
fun to
fun,
pre-produce.
and I just challenge.
Tobias,
Oh, you
did
settled on a
have
good
anything-
voice, though. You both
did you
settled
have
on a
anything
good
specifically for that?
flamboyant voice, and it
Yeah.
matched the character very nicely.
It was.
I
such
don't
a
think
fun
I've played
character.
actually such a flamboyant character before. If I have, it's been very rare to do someone who's written clearly very, very out there.
Yeah,
like
and-
intentionally flamboyant.
And I would say, I mean, he was intentionally over the top, which made it.
They made it fun. It was
made
a
it
fun
fun.
character.
My mother was a hairstylist, so like I grew up in the salon, and I've met a few of the guys that are super flamboyant. And let me tell you, like at the 4th of July party or like whatever, that's where you have the most fun is around those guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was kind of fun for me because it was just
New
like
from ZA Maxfield.
blast from the back.
The salon.
There you go. You can take that.
Call him. Do it.
So Tobias, did you do anything special? Prep.
No, you can write a pre-one.
Yeah. How many people are involved in the production start to finish? And what is each person's role?
Are we all in the room?
I think we're all here,
We're all here.
Yeah.
present and accounted.
I'd say for this particular book, it took 4 people.
It
2
took all
actors,
of
an
us.
engineer, and quality control.
Yeah, so Tobias and Dorian would do their pre-production and come in and do that, and then they would record the book, and who would track them would be Nick, and I would QC, I would listen and find the mistakes and mark any lip smacks and give them a hard time. Yeah. Yeah, that.
Yeah, all those
And then
noises.
Nick would
People
clean
don't
it
want to
up.
hear those voices. Those voices.
Sorry.
So all of us, that's what we do. How did everyone get into this business? Dorian.
Honestly, we did a couple small projects for other things where I got to go into the booth and be a character, and I really liked it. And then Nick came to me and was like, "Hey man, I'm opening a studio of my own, and I need people. Would you be interested?" I thought, "What the hell?" So I just kind of flopped into it. And I mean,
Flopped into it.
well, you know, I'm a slob like that.
So Tobias, how did you get
Oh,
into
it
this
was very
business?
similar. It was like
You answered
play-
our call to audition.
Yeah, yeah.
So you did.
You put it up there on Facebook, and you're like, "Who wants to try out?" And I was like, "I will." And you said, you're like, "You play a lot of D&D. I think this will go well."
Oh yeah. No, I was telling Fauna after the fact. I can't believe I didn't initially think to come to you in the first place. I guess maybe I didn't know if you were interested or not. But like, as soon as you were like, "Yeah, I'm interested," I'm like, "Perfect choice." D&D player, you got this.
dedicated role players are very good voice actors. We've discovered this.
Yes.
So Nick, how did you get into this?
From Mr. John Solo at Falcon Sound Company.
Woo,
Represent.
Yeah.
It's a good man over there.
We love you, John.
Did you just flash a gang sign?
You know, I just kind of did a salute. Is that a gang sign? Is that shit? Maybe I need to stop doing
Falcon Sound.
salutes. I don't know.
Tobias knows too much.
Oh God. All right, what's next?
Question 4. For the narrators,
Ooh.
what were your favorite and least favorite parts about recording Burnt Toast?
There are things that happen in almost every romance novel that are just really frustrating to like get into. Like, because we've read the book like maybe 3 or 4 times now, and there's always the same problem that arises in a relationship. And having to act that out is kind of difficult because all we can think in our heads is like, you 2 are being fucking idiots.
Yeah, like some a miscommunication. It's like
Yeah.
just talk to each other.
I was gonna say
Talk to each other.
the problem is usually, like you were saying, in almost all these books, there's an element of just communication breakdown that
Yeah.
is unreal. And it's hilarious at first.
Yeah.
Like you said, the first 2 times you read it, you
Yeah.
just snicker. And then by the 4th or 5th time, you're just like, oh man.
And I think my favorite part was doing something from a trans man's side of the story.
Yeah.
Because
I
that's
could see
Ginsburg as a trans man, and as a trans woman, that was very interesting to see that from the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Because of the scars, they mentioned the scars, and then the sex scene where
Yeah,
they
the
weren't
and
sure
like
about,
everything.
The emotional elements too. I think that they go into.
Mhm.
She goes into a couple details of being in those new shoes,
Mhm.
which was interesting.
It's neat.
So,
Yeah.
this is some questions from Heidi. Tobias, do you have any similarities with the characters you played? What about them is completely different from you?
Since I've only done I think 3 or 4 books at this point, it's that I do my I have one standard, almost like effeminate male voice, and then a kind of bro-y voice. Now I think I've gotten away from that from the last few books, but the always almost like the very main character always has the same effeminate voice for me, and it's kind of what I came to.
Derek and I aren't that different. I'm kind of useless too. So
Brutal.
So we're all about honesty here, kids. But no, I mean, Derek struggles with some basic things that I also sometimes struggle with. Not necessarily the physical things, like I can cook if I need to. I won't burn the house down. I'll be okay. But I could kind of feel the way he was getting frustrated at things. That was familiar to me. Like if I've tried to do something 3 or 4 times and I'm upset, then I get pretty frustrated. So I mean, that was similar. Differences, I don't know. I can cook an omelet. That guy has problems.
Yeah, that guy can't fluff
Yeah.
a pillow without the house
yeah.
burning down.
Oh my
Seems
God.
like.
Thank God for Jim and Ken's
Better
birthday.
not show him an effeminate apron. 'Cause-
That was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
brutal. Yeah, I'm a little cooler about that stuff too, I guess. I'm not, I don't know. I don't get offended very easily, which is probably good to have thick skin when you do what we do, I think. But I mean, aside from that, we're pretty similar people. He's just kind of like a big doofusy kind of, yeah. I mean,
so is reading a sex scene aloud as embarrassing for you as it is for me as an author to hear it read aloud?
No, I don't know about everyone else in this room, but I almost get off on reading these things. I am such a sexual person. I really enjoy it and I really get into it. And I have a lot of fun reading them. It doesn't bother me even the slightest.
I guess my response would be that really depends on how embarrassed she gets about it, because I don't know. That being said, I mean, honestly, it doesn't embarrass me. It really doesn't. Sometimes you get the giggles. I mean, it gets kind of fun sometimes, and you have to just laugh it out and then go back to it.
Yeah.
Especially, the main thing for me is like, it's not really that embarrassing because, you grow up goofing off with your friends. I'm sure you've pretended to hump one thing or another and made some noise in front of some people.
What are you doing in that booth?
I'm a weird guy. But I'm just saying, like, that's not hard to do. So really, once you get past the fact that you don't know the material, it's not something you're making up and making funny. It's something you're trying to make serious
And sexy.
and sexy, and you're trying to read it that way. But if you're not in the right mode going in to say that sentence, and you start going, his cock stretched, blah, 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 and you're not ready for that cock stretching action, you're going to laugh. I mean, you're going
I'd
to,
say there's only been a handful of times where we've actually burst out laughing. It's just because there's some extreme lines. But using that same thing, it is funny too if you like mess up that line, come in as an engineer and say, go from he stretched his cock.
yeah.
Just go from there,
Can
please.
you go
Thank
from
you.
there, please? Yeah. Let's back up to the cum dripped.
Yeah.
Let's
Give me
back
cum
up.
dripped again, please.
Yeah, and then I'll put a punch out like you said cock with a weird lip smack. So
Yeah.
I'll
That's
go
weird.
with that.
Hey, can you
Yeah.
please quit smacking your
Yeah.
lips on the cock?
On the cock word,
Yeah, please.
please. Thank you.
It's really sucks when you have to go back and you QC'd it and you need to like do a punch out and you're in the middle of a sex scene and you have to put yourself back where you
Yeah.
were.
Give that same emotion.
You have to like
You gotta get in that zone
that's
of
tough.
okay.
You were just talking like this, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my god, stick it in my ass!"
Yeah. And you got to do it.
Yeah, it's gotta be
Like
in
that.
the same tone.
You switch.
I mean, we play it back so you can match it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, we match
We
the pitch.
try,
And if
but
you
it's
don't
still
match the
not the
pitch, we
same,
make you
but
redo it
we
because
try.
it's that will come in if it's like he stuck it right in my ass and it felt really good. And then I went, that wouldn't
And
quite
I liked it.
You're wrong. Stop.
I mean, if the character was like Brick Tomlin from Anchorman, then it would work. But
Okay. What was your favorite scene to read / perform?
Ever or just
No,
in this
just
book?
for this
burnt
book.
toast.
I would say the coffee scene for me. Like when they were trying to make espresso, they spent like an entire chapter sitting down at this freaking machine and like going back and forth. And Derek got so frustrated, and he was like I can't make coffee. And Ginsburg is like, you need to relax. I jumped through flaming buildings. You can do this.
And this is one of those instances where I'm kind of surprised. I would have picked that same scene,
Yeah.
and it was me saying, I have some similarities and you think it's hilarious. I get so pissed at coffee machines. Do not put a Keurig in front of me. I will have a damn heart attack. It's just bad.
So you just do coffee pots only, huh?
Yeah. Give me a pot. Give me like a bun or like a Mr. Coffee. You know,
What's a
something
bun?
I know. It's a coffee.
A drive-through, maybe.
No. Don't get your coffee through the drive-through. Don't do that.
It's okay.
Okay.
Don't judge my.
Oh,
Oh no.
well.
Wait, we never said what we were drinking.
Sometimes it's okay.
Are we supposed to share?
No,
that?
we're not.
Yeah. We
Alright.
we do.
We generally
Dorian's drinking a Bud Light.
Classic.
do. It's gone.
It's gone.
An empty Bud Light.
Starting on another Bud Light.
I'll get
Nick is
one.
drinking a Still Reserve with a straw. If
Like
you
last
go on our
time.
Twitter, you can see that.
It is a personal favorite of mine. A very cheap, effective drink.
Yes.
I know I'm holding it up to the mic.
And I'm drinking a delicious Dunkin' Donuts iced cold brew coffee with
Just
hazelnut
like
swirl.
Dorian said
Now
not
for
to
a
do.
limited time.
No.
And Fauna, your drink of choice?
Some wine. Some
Some wine?
13% alcohol content wine.
That's the kind of drink.
It's making me feel good.
Right
Okay,
on.
question 4. Have you ever done an audiobook as a part of a team before? How does it compare to having to do multiple character voices on your own? How closely did you work together? Well, you guys weren't in the booth together. You guys recorded your
Yeah, we
parts
recorded
separately.
separately. Like
It
what-
wasn't his boy.
The weirdest
Mhm.
thing sometimes is that you're really getting into a scene. Like there were a few sex scenes that have to get handed midway over, and you're just like they're getting ready to go, and then all of a sudden your scene's over, and you go back to them driving home, and you're like, oh well, I missed my favorite part. Ugh.
That didn't happen to me as much. I pretty much, they would end on your side of things most of the time
Yeah.
in that
a
book.
lot.
That being said, I mean, aside from kind of talking about the character voices and kind of coming together on the tone of those things and
That was it.
recording with Nick, I mean, that was pretty much it for us. I think that was my first collaborative book.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
Mine too.
Okay, cool. So we popped our collaborative book cherry right there.
You did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Woo!
You did.
Just punched it right there.
And I do believe Pop
Yeah.
Dark Knight Sounds collaborative.
Oh,
book
nice,
cherry.
nice.
Thank
And then,
you.
yeah.
Like
So
a
it wasn't like
gangbang.
his boy. I got pretty close with you.
His
and
boy was after that, yep.
Yeah.
And
72
yeah.
virgins up in this beef.
Dude, you could smell
Got
just sweaty locker room in there. It was great.
Yeah.
It took me
Sweaty,
back to
sweaty
middle
time.
school.
we did that in
Jim.
the peak of summer, and that booth gets pretty hot in the summer.
It was sticky. It was sticky. So I would say overall, it was a less sweaty, sticky experience doing the book with you. Not that it wasn't wonderful.
I have nothing to say. I have
Well,
nothing to add
last
to that.
podcast, you did say Nick's cum was delicious.
I
last
did.
podcast.
I did. I was, being facetious, but it's okay.
I can't deny
I
it.
need to drink something other
Yeah.
than coffee.
So the next part, we'll be talking about Sweetwater.
Yeah.
If you want to play an excerpt.
Ooh.
August books. Here we go. Sweetwater.
The Empire did a good meal. Beef stew and bread with a whiskey on the side for 30 cents. This late at night, it was the scrapings from around the edge of the pot, but Grady was too hungry to care. "I'm going back to the hotel after this," he said. "See if I can't get a bath." "You can get a bath here," Cody said, his eyes dancing. "Not really my interest." Dale snorted. Not that Grady minded a girl scrubbing his back and giving him a shave, but what he really wanted was to relax and let the hot water soak out his aches and pains from the trail. He didn't want to close his eyes and have his peace broken by the sounds of miners and townsmen fucking whores through paper-thin walls, or be disturbed by whatever noise Elijah was making either. That sat sour in his gut. Plenty of other asses to fuck, but something about Elijah wouldn't let him go.
That's such a good accent. Love that.
I mean, apparently, no matter what I do, that's like the wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's I think one of your strong suits. For anybody that's played Red Dead Redemption, Dorian's Grady sounds to me like a copycat version of John Marston. It's like perfect.
It's close. It's close.
It's pretty damn close.
I love that accent. I just imagine like 50-year-old Confederate soldiers like sitting back listening to their version of this gay porn.
What?
So like the
This is what I
general,
need.
so like the general and Hateful Eight, just like guys like that.
Yes.
Just-
And then it's like, I need to sit back with some Dorian. Yes.
I don't think that's our
Sweet
target
asses.
demographic.
I mean, if they want to check a copy out, I'm not
Get a
gonna.
nice sweet tea, sit on the porch, sit back. The sounds of ass
But it's
fucking.
good that you take your audience back just with that little excerpt.
I try, I try.
All right. Well, we got some.
I love that we know when we're like grinding a segment down because Fauna just cuts in with, okay, all right, moving on. And I like that.
Do you have a routine before you start a recording session?
I used to say not really to this question. But like more and more lately, I've done some stuff that's more or less a routine. Basically on a good day, I wake up early enough that I've got some time. I make whatever I want for breakfast. Sometimes like at that point, I've already done my pre-reading and stuff. So sometimes it's nice to like review notes or like go back to an excerpt or look at stuff about a character or just honestly sit around and practice character voices. I'll just sit there, have some bacon and eggs, practice character voices by myself. And you started this shit. Sorry.
We're all here in a room together looking at each other.
Yeah.
We're all friends.
It's really effective.
Yeah.
No, so on a good day, I wake up early enough to have some breakfast and then do maybe some like review of my notes and then maybe do a workout and then come to the studio, sit down and do my thing. On a bad day, it's like you wake up, you show up, you beg for crackers so your stomach doesn't interrupt you. Nick is kind enough to give them to you. That's happened on 3 occasions now where my hobo ass has showed up so hungry.
Give the man some crackers.
Is that where we got
Stomach's
the
going.
We're out of crackers.
That's why we got the
That's why we
food
got
bowl,
the food bowl,
probably. Yeah. Yeah. And the chips for a while that were in the
Yeah.
corner.
But then we
Chips.
ended up
That
eating
was-
the chips. And
yeah.
then,
Fawn and I just ate all the chips. So we're like, we
Yeah.
can't have chips in this room anymore.
yeah.
Yeah. But no, so, on a bad day, you got that. Most days are in between. You wake up kind of late. You have oatmeal with peanut butter in it and some coffee. You show up, you do your thing.
And
So-
for those of you who don't know, Dorian really likes peanut butter. Like
I love
seriously.
peanut butter.
Dorian loves peanut butter.
I
on a serious
love
note.
peanut butter. I eat peanut butter. Last night, I was eating peanut butter out of the jar with a spoon.
You're pregnant?
No, I mean, I could be. I haven't medically checked into that, but I don't think I am. I mean, I don't know.
Science is doing wonderful things these days.
How about you, Tobias? Any sort of pre-recording rituals of any kind?
When I get here, I always get a glass of water.
Naturally.
And just-
How many times do you read a book to decide on a character's voice?
I mean, generally speaking, like I'll read through the book the first time. And that first time through, I'm really looking at what's the story about? What are the characters about? How do they feel about things? And then I try and kind of get a feel for how the characters are themselves, how they bounce off of each other, and how they interact with the world around them. Once you've got that settled, you can go back through and I might do an entire read through, or if I've really already kind of got my characters figured out, I might just go back through and read excerpts and then take notes on the characters. Often the first time I read through, I'll kind of put shorthand notes down, like this guy's voice, deep, this person, nasally, or like whatever I feel fits that character. And then generally for the second read through, you start to figure out, okay, this guy's going to be like this guy's going to be like that. But I'll say, and Nick, you can back me up on this. There's sometimes I show up with all my character voices figured out. And then last minute, we decide, wait a minute, this makes more sense. Like that actually happened. You suggested a character voice to me the one time for one of the books in
I think it was
the
basically.
Demonica series.
Yeah.
It was one of those guys. And it worked so much better than the voice I had planned. So the long and short of it is it varies greatly based on a few things. The timing as to when the books need to be finished, the deadlines that we're working with, and the volume of work. Because those things, if I have a ton of time before my next project's due, I might read through that book 5 times total. If I've got to cram that book real quick and get it sorted out and get it out there, then I might read through it twice and then do some skimming. So I guess that's the answer.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. So
Next.
how did you come up with Elijah's
Crunch it.
voice in Sweetwater, given his difficulties with speech due to his deafness? What'd you do special?
There are a couple things that sort of help me. So, though I've not ever been like deaf in a true sense, I've had some really serious, like weird ear infection-y stuff, and I've had it in both ears before where like it sounds like I'm underwater for like a month. So I feel like that gave me like an idea as far as feeling weird about it. Cause like the main thing with him is it's less the voice and more he's very self-conscious of how he sounds. And for him, it'd be a completely different story in the fact that he was pretty much always that way. He got scarlet fever as a baby, and his hearing was mostly stolen from him. Whereas I was well versed. But during those periods, I was really not excited to talk to people because I was like, I can't hear myself. I'm scared that I sound horrible. And so I kind of put that in there. But the other thing that helped is I was a bartender for about 4 years, and I had a regular customer that came in all the time, and she's so sweet. And she's deaf. And we had talks constantly. And from her, I got more the voice inflection stuff. And then I had to figure out the uneasiness because she's not uneasy about it at all, which is cool. But so really that was the thing, is like trying to figure out how to do that. And you just basically round out vowel sounds and stuff like that. I tried to do a decent representation of it. Hopefully it sounded okay. The main thing that made it tough is you're looking at 3 things. You're looking at, does it sound relatively realistic? And then you still have to understand the person. Like, you know, my audience has to know what I'm saying, even though it might be a little different. And then on top of that, you want to make sure you're not going crazy with it. Like, we don't want a big cartoony poke fun at stuff kind of thing. So you don't want to offend anybody. So I tried to make it relatively realistic without making it crazy and yet still be audible.
Yeah,
So,
well, I think you did a good job of it.
I
mean,
tried.
Sweetwater is one of the best books, I feel like, for us. I was
it was a
fan of
great
it
book.
myself.
I enjoyed it, and your
Yeah.
performance was one of your best as
Yeah.
well.
I had a lot of fun. So.
Yeah.
So do you remember the first sex scene you had to narrate? Was that an awkward day at work?
Not really. I mean, I don't remember the exact first one. I'll say this. I believe my first book was it Doc and Kate? Was my first book.
No,
and then
it was,
I did
Was
Hidden
it
Desires, or
Siren
was it the
book.
way around?
It was
It
Hidden
It was
Desires.
Hidden Desires. Okay, so it was Hidden Desires,
So
then
Hidden
Doc and
Desires
Kate.
has a lot of sex.
Yeah, so
So-
Hidden Desires then would have been my first scene. So I would say this, and this is probably why I don't remember the awkwardness of the first sex scene. Firstly, like, it is tough to rattle me. So it doesn't bother me much to talk about sex. It's not really that big. The other thing is that book was a shifter book. So I had other stuff to deal with than the weirdness
Wait,
about
was it-
sex.
Here comes the
That
werewolf
was-
penis.
Yeah, it was
that-
all
that
about
was,
werewolves.
Hidden Desires was the
Hidden
werewolves?
Desires, I think, was the
Werewolves.
first one.
'Cause-
And then I had Forbidden Desires, which was a sequel.
Sequel.
okay.
Here's my
Uh,
territory.
But yeah, honestly, that was
Yeah,
the
I
thing
mean-
for me. Like, the sex was relatively normal compared to the fact that there was werewolf shit going on within those relationships. So really, the stuff that kind of, I wouldn't even say made me uncomfortable, but kind of threw me off was really the other stuff. It was less the sex. But I will
Yeah.
say, reading those scenes, like thinking back on that book, I giggled a lot more and we got a lot less done when I'd laugh at stuff because it would take forever to kind of reconvene. Whereas now I'm used to it and we're just like, and then move on, you know?
Yeah.
It was
So.
a weak buck.
bad.
Last question for you, Dorian. You have such a wonderful range for all the characters you voiced in Sweetwater. Was any of them more difficult to get down than the others?
So I've got kind of an interesting answer to this because I didn't think certain ones were going to be tough. Like you were talking about the Grady voice, which we thought I did very easily really well for some time. And then 3/4 of the way through the book, I
You
just
lost it a
lose
little
it
bit.
out of nowhere.
We had to
And we'd have to
kinda-
like
Yeah, we had to end the
rein
session.
it back in.
Mhm.
So that was surprising because I thought it was going to be easy and it turned out to be hard. The ones that I knew up front
But
were
then you
gonna
went
be
right back
tough.
into it, though.
Yeah,
And,
I
like,
know.
you got into it again.
Yeah, we
so.
figured it out.
Yeah.
But the ones that I knew were going to be tough were McCord, who's a crazy old Scottish guy. That was tough. Elijah, because, obvious reasons. I think challenge accepted. I think we did
Yeah.
that. And it worked
You
well.
nailed it.
I
You
had
nailed it.
I had you guys there. You initially to let me know when stuff. So no, Fauna, you went back and checked out all my
Yeah.
bleeps and
Sometimes
blurps
when I
and
get
spits.
tired of people messing up the same thing, I'll tell them, I'll make a little note in our little punch out sheet. Take the dick out of your mouth, or quit doing that. Just quit.
When
'Cause we're
Fauna
all
gets
friends.
fed up.
When Fauna gets fed up.
There are 13 punch outs in this chapter, you son of a bee.
Yeah.
Learn to read!
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
Oh, no,
so-
I know. We know.
No,
It's reading is
come-
hard.
Yeah.
come to my
Reading's
punch out
really
sessions. You will be flabbergasted.
I
We're
like
not
some-
perfect.
I just change fucking words. I put words
Oh, yeah.
in there.
No, I know it. They'll be
Big
like,
words,
I'll be
not like and.
No, you make your own sentences.
I
I see it
just
sometimes. I'll skip
Yeah.
whole sentences and I'll be
Yeah.
like,
and
you
start
skip
yeah.
this sentence. And it's like, how did I miss a whole sentence?
Oh, we
Sometimes-
both miss
yeah.
a sentence.
Sometimes
Yeah.
that happens.
My bad.
'Cause yeah.
Yeah, she's she'll
Not
let you
marrying
know.
a bee.
She's a kind-hearted person, but don't make her listen to the same mistakes forever. Because you're gonna get it.
All right, so next segment. Sarge.
Nice.
Jay Russo. You want to play an excerpt
Sure.
from Sarge?
I'm excited.
Yeah, we can all hear what Sarge is all about.
With what I figure is my 10th sigh in as many minutes, I throw the pad down on the desk and give it my best fuck you call me sir goddammit look. Works on the men, but this is just a fucking pad. And it sits there beeping its annoying little beep as it waits for me to finish my goddamn wreck and ditch list. See, I'm on the mend. I'm supposed to be taking it easy while all the nerves and what have yous heal up properly. They don't want me to fuck up the replacement job they did on me. And shit, that's fine, I get it. But taking it easy's for old men, and I'm not quite ready to admit to that yet. I run my fingertips around my eye socket, right along the edges of the implant where the skin feels a little numb to the touch, and can't hold back another goddamn sigh. I know it'll feel just like my own worn hide in a couple of days. After all, this ain't my first rodeo, as they used to say, but I can't help but be a lick impatient. I shouldn't be complaining. Hell, back in my day, you didn't get a new eyeball if some shit-sucking alien cowboy blew it out with a charge rifle.
That's awesome,
That's
dude.
great.
I am really
Dude.
enjoying this series. I just finished up book 2 of that one, Murphy, and it's really intense. They have kind of an S&M relationship, but it's in the midst of this epic scenery of just they're fighting this alien war. I don't know if he said how far exactly into the future they are, but they have a lot more technological advances than we do, and it's really fun. The characters are fun. They're in just such an intense setting.
That
I'm
sounds
enjoying the hell out of it.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a nice book.
That's
I
one I may
enjoyed
have to
Q
listen
Scene
to.
Sarge.
I
I would
haven't-
recommend it.
I
Full
like
warning
that
on
character.
spoilers, but I mean, at the end, there's this crazy battle or not really battle, more like a siege. They go in and try to take out the aliens.
Didn't they call Operation Dead Horse?
Dead Horse, Operation Dead
There you
Horse,
go.
and they go in and
'Cause they're
they
taking
deal
it.
with so many just instances of
Xeno scum.
Xeno scum.
Xeno
From natural things on the planet to actual booby traps from the aliens they're fighting. One of the main characters gets his leg blown off.
So,
Like it's
Oh,
crazy.
man.
It's
so
awesome.
That is
Charlie's
intense.
Xeno scum.
Yes.
And then there was
Yes.
those invisible grenades.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is something that came from Bay.
Okay.
That this is kind of like a paragraph talking about what Bay thinks of
All right.
One thing I sometimes hear from folks who've read Sarge is that they had a hard time seeing past Sergeant Wilkes' rough, growly, emotionally distant exterior to the lonely, somewhat vulnerable man at the center. Nick really tapped into the emotion of the story, and that made Sarge's character come alive, even with folks who already read the books and connected with Sarge. They're finding a more profound understanding of his emotional state through Nick's narration. My question for Nick is whether he found it hard to channel Sarge's emotional growth.
Yeah, no, having a very dynamic character, it was easy to channel that, and especially such an intense character above anything else. So I enjoyed that.
Like, he's just a badass character.
He
Very
sounds
badass.
pretty.
Hard-ass.
He sounds
In the
pretty fun.
first chapter, he loses his eye from an
Shit.
alien grenade, and Murphy has to patch him up right there, like in front of
Mm-hmm.
all their dead comrades, just like
Brutal.
because they're out in the
Yeah.
field and they can't leave at this
And
point.
Murphy has this
So-
different essence about him, where it's almost like he can see auras in a way.
He can see auras.
He can
it's
see
part
auras.
of his,
Okay, he can
his
see
bionics.
auras, but then there's like, but it
That's pretty sweet.
expands because they say you can see something in the sky that no one else sees.
Mhm.
So he can see different things.
Did that in True Detective. But there's 1 second question. How hard was it to say hexabenectryl almione truxine?
About that hard. Had to look that up, and
Yeah.
among many other words, I'm not,
We've all done that
I thought
before.
we found some doozies.
Yeah.
Damn.
That one-
easy.
Just
I
wow.
track myself now, so I stop and like Google.
For those of you that can't see the look in his face right now, you've missed comedy gold.
All right, so that's it for our books this month.
Woo!
So Sarge is part of an ongoing series.
Sweet.
Murphy will be out within the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout for that.
Murphy is just as good as Sarge.
It is intense.
And if you haven't already heard the other books, go get those.
Get those too.
Get all
Get
of
on
them.
it.
Just get all
All
the
of the
books.
books.
Buy them all.
All the books.
All right, moving on.
You're just get them.
Book roulette next.
Book
Oh,
roulette.
yes. I've been waiting a freaking month for
Oh,
this.
So do you
I'm
want to
nervous.
tell
I am so
tell
nervous.
our audience
Tobias
about
is
the
doing-
book roulette?
Book roulette.
Yes.
So last month, Dorian did book roulette. It's where we pick a random excerpt from a random book
It's so fun.
in a random accent.
Oh, God.
And
It's- I
Tobias
promise
has
it's
no
so
idea
fun.
what it is.
I'm nervous.
So exactly.
So fun.
So can we get a drum roll, please?
Drum roll.
You got this.
I believe in myself.
We believe.
And the excerpt is
Tobias read an excerpt from The Godfather in an Irish accent.
Oh, okay. That's not too
Nice.
And I
bad.
have it right here.
and it's one of the romance scenes in there, yeah?
Oh, I'm excited.
Yes.
Isn't it? It's a
This
romance
is
scene
all
from
of these book
from
roulettes
the
will probably mostly
book
be
version of The
romance.
Godfather.
It's Russian last month.
So,
so
just to set the
here's the
scene as
script, and we're
before.
gonna set the
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
So there you go. Hold on,
Here
we're
we
gonna set
go.
the scene with some music.
Wait.
So good.
Right?
Okay. Right there. Now as she ran up the steps towards Sunny, a tremendous flash of desire went through her body. On the landing, Sunny grabbed her hand and pulled her down the hall into an empty bedroom. Her legs went weak as the door closed behind them. She felt Sunny's mouth on hers, his lips tasting of burnt tobacco. Bitter. She opened her mouth. At that moment, she felt his hand come up beneath her bridesmaid's gown, heard the rustle of material giving way, felt his large, warm hand between her legs, ripping aside the satin panties to caress her vulva. Vulva. There's a sexy
Vulva.
word we don't use very
An
much in
Irish
our-
vulva.
She put her arms around his neck and hung there as he opened his trousers. Then he placed both hands beneath her bare buttocks and lifted her.
Yay!
I loved it.
I don't know how good that was.
It was pretty damn
no,
good.
actually, that was pretty.
I really enjoyed it.
I always feel when we do accents, we start getting really stereotypical.
But I love that.
Croaky! You know?
Well, you don't exactly have a choice, do you? I mean, come on.
So
Well, you say that, but then they always send it back saying too deep.
Well, that's me. So that's a thing.
You got to New York. Too much.
Audience questions.
So we're reading
I'm
audience
excited.
questions. First off, so I want to give a shout out to, I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Hanny Lai or Han Lai. She says, "Hi guys, this isn't really a question, but a thank you for all your wonderful narrations. Nick J. Russo, Dorian Bain, and Tobias Silversmith."
Aww.
Oh, wow.
Aww.
That is awesome.
Thank you so much. You're very
Man.
sweet.
And then
I
we have
just-
a question from Amy Reed. Nick J. Russo is one of my favorite narrators. I loved listening to the Henry Rock playing the full series. My question for Nick is, what has been his favorite book or series to narrate? I would love to win a copy of Sarge, which you did, so congratulations. on
Ooh.
Congratulations.
Bang, bang, bang.
Enjoy.
We've a winner.
Sarge.
That's really tough because there's so many that I really enjoy. The one that she mentioned, playing the fool, so
Yeah.
funny. That's probably the funniest one I've ever done, was playing the fool. But I also do a couple different vampire series that are a lot of fun. One's more serious than the other
For Falcon Sound Company.
for Falcon Sound Company, and I do a sci-fi series as well,
I've
Called
heard
it.
that's pretty cool.
Exodus.
You know what you should do? You should burn a bridge right now and tell us the worst.
No, not doing that. That's gonna.
This bad suggestion brought to you by Tobias Silversmith. But no, you've done quite a few, so it'd be tough to pick. But
Yeah, I couldn't name a single one. I'd say I have several that I like.
But it's because
We'll
you're
check
doing
those
what
out.
your passion is. And it's hard to dislike something that you just love doing.
When it's a project I'm really into, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
The voices and so many of them. I've played orcs. I've played random aliens.
I am so
done
jealous.
evil, sinister bad guys, and
Still jealous.
yeah,
Cute bottoms.
Yes, yes.
I'm jealous
So-
of that, but less willing to admit it.
Okay, next question is from Otis Cauldron for Dorian Bain.
Okay.
Have you been able to muster up a raspy female's voice as of yet?
I've tried. I've really tried. And I've done
I
okay.
thought you were gonna try it.
You want me to
Oh
try
yeah,
it?
yeah. Prove him.
I mean, it depends on, like, let me see what I can do. Like, you know, honestly, it really depends on how raspy you want to go.
Smoking.
Because I
Whole
just
life.
want to say, you know, I'm really sad this character's gone. But like, has anybody here watched Big Bang?
No.
Yes.
You watch Big Bang?
Mhm.
You watch Big Bang ever? No.
Finally.
Watch Big Bang, you
Big
evil
Bang
bastards.
Yeah.
Good job
The
for
Big
you.
Bang
Big
Theory.
Bang Theory.
Woo, Big Bang
I've
Theory.
seen the Big Bang Theory, but it's not called the Big Bang.
The Big Bang Theory.
Thank you, Sheldon. Moving on. All right.
Who
So,
died? Oh, his mom.
his mom died.
His mom.
But you
Spoiler
know,
alert.
so yeah, his
Oh
mom.
no, the show I don't
Yeah.
care to watch.
Mom died. But no, that's kind of where my starting point is because that's about as good as it gets. Is Howard. That's about as good as it gets.
That's great.
Reheat the meatloaf. Like that's you know.
That's
So I'm
awesome.
trying, but the problem is that lady's always yelling.
Yeah.
So then you gotta back off and try and learn to do it without the yelling. And you know, that character's a little Jewish. That happens too. But you gotta back off and just do the voice, and then it's tough because then you're trying to do it quiet, and it just comes out like, so is some, and then it's all squeaky because you haven't cut all the Jewish out of there yet.
See, I had to take out so much of my raspiness in that one book we did.
Don't.
She was a smoker, but being a
I'll be-
Oh yeah.
I'll be-
Crossing borders.
I'll be
Crossing
truthful.
borders.
Don't ask him. Don't talk to me about your raspiness. There are days I come in here and he's like, "Are you a fucking human yet?" Like it's bad.
Well, but no, in Crossing Borders, Tobias
Was it
gave a
bad?
particularly
Tobias,
chain
do
smoker
it.
Do
kind
it,
of
do
voice.
it. Oh my god.
What are you doing now, honey? Come on.
I like the
I want
breathiness
you
of
to
it.
go take a
And,
ride on my motorcycle, but I'm so tired.
And that voice was kicked back.
So I had to really pull it back.
So I would say this. I would say, Otis, to answer your question, Tobias clearly does a better job than me, so I still have work to do. But I'll do my best.
Thanks, Otis, for participating on our Facebook.
Yeah,
all the
absolutely.
time.
Thank you
Come
all
hang
for
out with us
participating.
anytime, guys.
Yeah. And that about does it for us today on Dark Knight Sounds Happy Hour. Thanks for tuning in and checking out what we've been up to. If you have any questions you'd like us to answer in our next podcast, tweet us at Dark Knight Sound, #DNS Happy Hour. Check out our social media, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Facebook, we're on it all.
All the social
We're on YouTube, obviously we're here talking to you right now.
Soon to be on iTunes, because
Soon to
I'm
be on
pressuring
iTunes.
them like crazy.
Tobias will help us get on iTunes.
Tobias leading the iTunes charge. I
Yes.
respect that.
So, like us, talk to us. We love you all.
Like and subscribe to this video if you want to see more.
Yes, that.
Love you as always. Till next time.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
I'm storming the castle.
Outro.